Well, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Tuesday, March the 19th, 2024. Tuesday, March the 19th. You could tell I'm getting better, y'all. I'm getting better. My voice and vocal cords are slowly improving, but you can still hear it ain't there yet. I have asthma as well, so I get a bit winded, but anyway, and you look, still blowing my nose. Look at this red, still blowing my nose. But anyway, let's get through this recap before I start coffee. Um, Willow is at the hospital, hates his questioning Elizabeth. And see, fortunately, Elizabeth can say with honesty, no, she has not seen Jason, you know? And he says, well, you have one of his sons, so it would be logical that he would reach out to you. And Elizabeth is like, uh, that's absolutely not logical. Um, I don't know where Jason is and haven't seen him. Because he goes, Jason is a fugitive and wanted for the shooting of Dante Falconeri. And Liz said, you mean possible that he shot Dante Falconeri for the alleged, see, she told him, because that's the word you should be using here, is alleged. Allegedly he shot, because he goes, he shot Dante Falconeri. She goes, no, no, no. You mean possibly? You should be saying alleged, because from what I hear, there are no facts for that. And so he goes, well, the evidence points, and she goes, you know what? And Willow was at the nurse's station listening to all this. She's about ready to clock out. And she goes, you know what? This conversation's over. I have patience to see. And she walks away from him. And he's standing there looking stupid, right? Um, Willow leaves. She goes to see Jason. She goes in, and guess who's there? Danny. Danny couldn't wait to get out of school and go to visit Jason. And Jason hasn't made it plain enough that it's not okay for him to come there. He could be leading anybody to him, and he doesn't want him implicated. But see, Danny's hard headed, but Jason is his father, and Danny would ultimately listen to his father. But when Danny walked in, Jason was trying to stand and he's wobbling, and Danny's like, I got you, you know? So Danny feels that he needs to check in on his father. And okay, I understand that. I'm not mad at him for that. I do understand that. But listen, son, you checked in. Now it's time for you to check out. You peeked in. Dad, you okay? And I say, yes, son, I am. And you check out. You don't sit on the floor, crossing your legs, and now we talking childhood stories. Mm-mm. And I'm like, Jason. And so Willow, when she saw him, she goes, Danny, what are you doing here? Uh, I was just down here checking on my father. She goes, okay, but you know what? School's been over with for a while, and they're going to be looking to see where you are. And he goes, no, I told him I was going up to my room to do homework. And so Willow says, okay, and what happens if somebody comes up to your room? He said, I told him I have to do a lot of homework. If somebody comes up to your room to help you with that homework and you're not there. And he looked, he goes, okay, I see what you're talking, what you're saying. He goes, all right, I'll go. So she rebandages Jason, and she just look, he goes, are you okay? And she's just looking at him. She rebandaged him, and she goes, here is some antibiotics for you to take. Because see, look, if there's one thing I knew, gunshot wound, antibiotics, right? And no, I've never been shot, y'all. No. None of my family's ever been shot. But I've seen plenty of shows. And everybody that gets shot on General Hospital and anywhere needs antibiotics. That's just the known facts. You got to have some antibiotics. So even when an animal gets shot and they get the bullet out, they got to give them antibiotics. So anyway, what she's done, she's still kind of got that stern look. And he goes, Willow, are you okay? And she goes, actually, no. It's wrong and dangerous for you to bring Danny in on this. He goes, I did not search Danny out. I didn't search any of you out, but Danny found me. And so Willow says, yes, but Danny keeps coming back. She says, and that Kate, federal agent Kate, was grilling Elizabeth and threatening Elizabeth with federal charges. What do you think he would say to Danny? And Jason looked. Jason goes, no, I'm going to take care. I'm going to see to it. And I'm going to take care of the fact that none of you, nothing will happen to none of you in this, meaning I'm going to call Diane, right? Because I saw a preview. And Diane is like, well, it took you long enough to call, right? So I know he's going to call Diane. So anyway, guess just as Willow is saying this, guess who just walks in the kitchen? Danny is supposed to be doing his homework, but he's playing with something, right? He ain't concentrating. And Kate says, Danny Morgan, and it's up in the air and it startles him. Danny looks and he drops whatever he was playing with, and he goes, I'm Federal Agent Kate. I didn't mean to startle you. I just have a few questions for you. And he just walks on over and I thought, wait, whoa. Danny is definitely a minor. He ain't even 17. Danny's what, 14? And you gonna question him, right? He goes, Yuri, the butler let me, or Yuri let me in. Like, oh, it's okay. And so he goes, have you seen your father, Jason Mortgage? And Danny's like, no. And he goes, your father is a suspect in a criminal investigation. And it's vital that if you have seen him or he hasn't called you, he hasn't contacted you. And Danny's looking at him. Danny's like, no. I'm surprised Danny didn't say, I don't have a cell phone. I'm on punishment. Right? I'm surprised he didn't say that, but he didn't. And so Kate says, see, this is how I'm trying to think of a word to let you know the word that I want to say. Because, Daily Recap Lady don't curse on the daily recaps. Now, when I stop recording, oh my God. But you can tell I'm feeling a little better if I make a joke. Okay. Sometimes they pick an animal. People will say chicken. You guys got it? How chicken Kate's was. He said, so you're trying to tell me he's been back all this time and he hasn't tried to even get in touch with his own son? What's that say about him? And I was like, oh my God, no, you're not talking to this minor about his father like that. Oh my goodness. And Danny looked at him. Danny said, that says nothing about him. I wouldn't expect him to contact me. It's not like I knew the guy before he left. And look, straight faced, as a matter of fact, that if this is true, Danny is good. That boy's gonna get in a lot of trouble. you know, woo. And Kate just looked at him and he goes, well, and all of a sudden you heard, Danny, don't say another word. And now one of my new favorite, because y'all know how I feel about Brook Lynn, because she used to do the Brooklyn. All the I haven't seen her really her character is evolving, I think, right? Brook Lynn came in like a bull in a china shop. That girl walked over up to Kate's, walked around Kate's, positioned herself in front of Danny, and said, Danny, go somewhere else. And Danny's like, okay. And he leaves. And she said, how dare you question a minor without his parents being present or without their consent? And he says, I'm a federal agent. I can question anybody in reference to a federal investigation. She says, wait just a minute. Okay. Danny is not a person of interest, nor do you have any paperwork to take Danny in. You barged your way into this house past Yuri. And Yuri told me that you barged in and right by him. He didn't open the door and give you permission to come in. She goes, you do not have a warrant at all. She goes, what you have done, he goes, questioning Danny Morgan is not illegal. She goes, oh, but it's out of line. And I have half of my, she goes, I'm still trying to figure out which lawyers I should call. And if we want to sue the FBI, because this is not how you question a minor, period. Danny Morgan hasn't done anything. Oh, I know about federal law. And by the way, she goes, just let me make sure you understand. Yuri, see, you took his accent as stupidity based on the way you talked to him. And he looked, and now he's looking at Brook Lynn. She says, oh no, Yuri may be Russian, or yeah, Russian. Uh, but he understands federal law. And he goes, well, okay, I may have, uh, uh, I may not have handled the situation with Danny Morgan properly, but I just wanted to, she goes, you know what? You need to stop talking because see, we may not sue your department, but at the very least, I want to go after your badge. And he just looked at her, and Brook Lynn had her hands crossed, like, give me a reason, because you already gave me one. Give me a second reason, right? She goes, I suggest you get out of my house. And he looked, he goes, please, please, give Mr. Young Danny Morgan. And Danny was just around the corner listening, right? Give young Danny Morgan my apologies. You're right. I should not have handled him that way. And apologize to Yuri as well. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. John, right? So when he left, Brook Lynn says, you can come out now, Danny. And he came around the corner and he was like, wow, you handled him so well. Oh, she goes, look, let me tell you something. You haven't been schooled in how to handle the cops, have you? She goes, you don't ever talk to them without your lawyer present. period. You're a quartermain. Give me your phone. He goes, remember, I'm on punishment. I don't have my phone. She goes, well, we're going to have to go old school then. She took out a piece of paper. She goes, this is the quartermain. This is the number to our family lawyers. You ever are going to be questioned again, you say nothing, Danny. She said, because see, more people have talked themselves into jail by thinking they can just talk to the police. She says, you can't. That's rule number one. She goes, the only cop you could talk to is Chase. And then she smiled. Right, and Danny smiled too. And he goes, okay, okay. She goes, no, I'm serious. That wasn't okay what he did. She need to be calling Sam, telling Sam right off the cuff what happened. She really does. Because no matter what, Sam would go ballistic. You did what to my son? What? Right? So that was pretty good. I really, really like that. And I love the way Brook Lynn handled that whole situation. So now we have what I'm really pissed off, who really needs to go. Oh, Dex threw Sonny under the bus. Oh, he was ordered to kill Cyrus. Oh, he went back to square one. Michael hired him to get information. And she goes, on Sonny, because Michael wanted him to go to jail, but then Michael changed his mind. And Anna's like, did you get the information, the evidence? He said, yes, I did. Sonny was um, moving arms for pikemen. So Anna said, where is this said evidence? And so he goes, it's destroyed, it's gone. She goes, okay. Michael changed his mind, he destroyed the evidence. Oh, okay. And then she says how then Michael had him and brought Carly in on it, and they wanted him to look after Sonny and protect Sonny in case Sonny got in over his head on anything. She goes, let me guess, this all started with the whole Nixon Falls situation. And he goes, yes. And so she goes, And so he goes, I'm prepared to testify. I'm prepared I'm taking full responsibility for my actions. She says, okay, Dex, you're taking full responsibility for your actions, but you do know you'll be implicating Sonny, right? He goes, yes. She says, okay, let me tell you how this will work. He goes, Cyrus Renault, he was wondering why was I in his room. So Cyrus can corroborate the fact that I was in his hospital room. So Anna said, even if Cyrus said he thought you were in his hospital room because you were going to try to kill him, since according to you, Sonny intervened and stopped the whole thing. So, and if Cyrus still wants to stick with that, Cyrus is a known felon. Okay, it will not stick. Cyrus's testimony will not stick. She says, then it's going to turn up to be your word against Sonny's word, especially since Sonny came and made sure you didn't do anything to hurt Cyrus. He goes, that case, the prosecution will not. They will already know they can't win. There's not enough hard evidence for anything, Dex, to get a conviction. She goes, now, had you still had the evidence, that would have been a different story. She says, the only thing you would accomplish is getting yourself killed, because I could tell you, Sonny would then have you eliminated. She goes, I've tried to bring Sonny to justice with more evidence than what you're telling me right now. Is that's not going to work. And he just looked. She goes, so what you're going to do is you're going to do this. This conversation that we had, oh, it never happened. It never happened. And you, I'm surprised she didn't tell him, because she didn't tell him. She should have told him, you need to just leave town if you feel this way. And in my mind, I'm thinking, you better be leaving town. Okay, now you cleared your conscience. You dimed on Sonny, you snitch. Okay. Soon as he kept talking, I said, why, that's snitch. And so he turned around, Mr. Vane, if you ever want anybody to work with you to take Sonny Corinthos down, please don't hesitate to call me. And she just looked at him. And he walked out, and I said, okay, Dex is going to die. And he is. Jason will probably kill him. You know. So now Josslyn is at Carly's, her mama's, crying. She goes, what's the matter, John? Dex and I are done. And oh, I found out. Blah. And she tells him about, Dex. She found out about Dex in Cyrus's room, and she was going to kill Cyrus and blah, blah, blah. And so Carly's looking, she goes, Josslyn, like, you still don't know the whole story. Well, Dex told me, she goes, Josslyn, then Dex made a choice based on Sonny's orders, just like Jason. So what? Sonny could point his finger and say, go kill that person. Cardi says it doesn't work like that, Josslyn. And you know it. She goes, it doesn't work like that. Sonny wanted a defenseless old man killed. And Carly's like, Cyrus Renault is not a defenseless old man, for one. And Sonny would have his reasons for two. And she goes, I was surprised he would have Dex, somebody on Dex's level, to do that, right? And Josslyn says, so Sonny would do that. Tell me, has Jason just killed on Sonny's orders? And Carly looked at her and said, what does that have to do with anything? Because no, he has, and you're just okay with it. You're okay with people just being killed. And so Carly says, look, I was not privy to the situation, and neither were you. I don't know, she goes, whatever situations Jason has been in, working for Sonny, are Jason's choices, just like they were Dex's choices. And you knew this going in. You just chose, Josslyn, not to see it. So she goes, why won't you just answer me the question? Has Jason killed anybody? She goes, because I'm not going to answer that question, Josslyn. She looked at her, she said, because you wouldn't know what to do with the answer if you were told it. No, I just want to know. She goes, and I'm not going to tell you. She goes, see, because you now know about Dex. And what are you doing, Josslyn? You're judging. You're judging. You're judging Dex. You're judging Dex. You're judging Sonny. She didn't say you're judging me, but she was looking at her like, and chick, you're judging me. I'm your mother. Because Josslyn told her, yeah, you knew what Jason would do, and yet you stood by his side, regardless. And Cardi said, I will always stand by Jason's side. Now, what you have now found out about Dex, now your eyes are wide open and you're looking at him clearly, Josslyn. And now you said that's something, that's a threshold. That's something that I can't overlook. She goes, good. That's something you can't overlook. So you can only do or not do what affects you, how you feel. You can't control other people and how they react. And so Josslyn said, but yeah, and I just, it's over. She goes, and good. She goes, I'm happy it's over. I'm glad you know yourself and you know it has to be over. And so Josslyn says, yeah, but you know what? Then she now see she already backtracking. But perhaps I could have, really you tried to understand more. And Carly says, no, no. You made your decision. You walked away. She goes, because Josslyn, it would have aided you and aided you. And you wouldn't trust Dex. And then Dex would feel it. And your relationship would end up being over anyway. She said, it's good. She goes, you saved you and Dex a lot of time. See, good for you, Carly. She told her daughter point blank, and Carly wasn't about to condone or let Josslyn. Now, you tell me all your business, because see, Josslyn don't need to know nobody's business. Josslyn's mouth is too big. And Carly was smart enough. Oh no, you don't tell stuff like that. So she ends up hugging her daughter, like, girl, you'll be all right. Whatever. You're an adult. You're making adult decisions. You're gonna be all right. Now, see, my whole thing is now Dex is gonna see Joss again, and he'll probably tell Josslyn what he did. And let's see what Josslyn says to him. Is she gonna go on a whole, we're gonna take Sonny down? If she does that, everybody, Josslyn Jackson's gonna be hurt. Sonny would never have her killed, but Josslyn's gonna be hurt. Because see, now she's playing with something that she has no business playing in. So we shall see what's going to happen with that. But Dex needs to go. Period. Nobody needs to see Dex ever again. Dex definitely needs to go. So now Anna shows up to John Cates's hotel room with a bottle of wine, saying something about I need to offer you a drink or a peace offering or whatever. Now, one thing I know is not going to happen. She's not going to tell Kate's about. And Kate was sitting in his room, threw his stuff down and just plopped in this chair. Like, oh, shoot, I did step over the line with that minor. Yeah, with that minor, right? So I already know Anna is not going to tell Kate what Dex told her. But the truth is, Anna will bring Sonny to justice if she had enough evidence and couldn't look the other way or give him the benefit of the doubt. Because her first instinct, she and Sonny have gotten very close over the last year when she was doing her walk of shame, right? Sonny was there for her, really almost like her best friend. So she ultimately is going to give him as much of a pass as she can until it's just in your face and it's up against, if you don't do anything, then you're gonna lose your job because it's obvious you are giving him preferential treatment. So we'll see where that goes. Now, Sonny and Christina were at Charlie's talking, and then Natalia walks in. And she goes, "Can I speak to you, Christina?" She was talking to Sonny. And Sonny looks and she goes, "Dad, this is Allie's mother, Natalia. This is my father, Sonny Corinthos." So they, shake hands and they end up sitting at a table because I thought she was going to ask Christina, could she talk to her alone? Right. And so they sit down and Christina, what did Christina say? Or Natalia said, "I need your help with something. I need your help with Allie." And Christina looked at her and Christina says, "Well, no." Sonny said a bunch of good things about his daughter. And then Christina says, "Well, you know what? I wish Allison had that, had what I have with my dad and you, with you." And so Natalia looked at Sonny, and because she told him about how when I walked into my daughter's hotel room and found your daughter in her bed, and Sonny's just looking like, mm, yikes, that could be embarrassing for my daughter, right? Embarrassing for you as a parent. And so she goes, "So yes, I handled it badly." And she goes, and then, oh no, so she had looked at Sonny. Sonny says, "Well, you know what, to be honest, any parent walking into their child's or their adult, but he did say child, but their adult child's hotel room and found someone in their bed, that would be a little bit startling to walk in on, right?" He said, "No parent wants to walk in on that." And he could have even said, "And look, no child wants to walk in on their parent in bed with somebody," right? And so she looked, and then when she said you were her girlfriend, see, she's saying all this to see if Sonny didn't know or if Sonny could get a rise out of what? And so she goes, and Sonny just, looks. And she goes, "And I handled it badly." He goes, "Well, the good thing is you will have an opportunity to handle it right. You can only do better the next time." She goes, "Well, there was a next time and I didn't do better. That's why I need your help, Christina." And Christina just looks at her, right? And so she goes, "Mr. Corinthos, can I ask you a question? How do you do it?" And he goes, "How do I do what? Or how did you do it? How did I do what? How did you handle finding out you have a daughter that's gay?" And Sonny looked at her and said, "Well, for one thing, my daughter," and he went way back to when she is the most inquisitive child. Even as a toddler, she asked all kinds of questions. Growing up, she goes, "Christina has always had a mind of her own and has always been allowed to choose her own path." He said, "Because it's her life." He said, "So how I handled it like I would handle anything. She's my daughter and I love her." In other words, her sex life is her business, not mine. Christina is still Christina and I love my daughter. And then maybe that's when Natalia looked at Christina and said, "You're lucky to have a father like him." And that's when Christina says, "And I wish Allie would have that in you." And Natalia just sat there. So we'll see. Now, bottom line, that would be a horrible match, Eva LaRue and Sonny, because there's no way she could deal with the mob life, none whatsoever. So, I mean, I don't even know. I'm hoping their paths don't ever cross again because there really is no need for it to, right? She was able to speak to a parent of Christina's with this. Now, she need to speak to Christina's mama because Alexis and Christina may clash, and they always have. Always they clashed. But if it's one thing Alexis will stand up for, is, oh, that's my daughter, and I love my daughter, period, unconditionally. Who my daughter chooses to love is her business, right? So Natalia needs to hear from Alexis. She really does. So anyway, everybody, that's it. That's it for the daily recap of General Hospital. I will be back tomorrow with another daily recap. I think on Thursday, everybody, on Thursday's daily recap, I might be able to muster out maybe 5 minutes of comment corner. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try on Thursday. So I'll be back tomorrow.